Great. I also brought a secondary game to talk about, but not that important. But among more Halloween releases, I think this released about a month ago or something like that for the Commodore 64 again. I had quite some fun with this little game called Mushrooms That Grow in the Woods. That's by NemanjaV. It's also name your own price on itch.io. And I think this game is presented as being inspired by Pac-Man, other old arcades and logic games, and it's meant to be part arcade and part logical, which in fact it is.
Okay.
It's a it's a very very simple mechanic. You have single screen levels. You are a little character. You can choose man or woman. It doesn't make any difference,
Okay.
other than the sprite looks different. And your purpose is to collect all the mushrooms on the screen, which is like a mini maze, by avoiding traps and some mushroom guardians, which are also themselves, some of them at least, look like walking mushrooms.
Okay. It looks really
So
weird, this game. Really vibrant
it's
colors.
yeah, that's right. It's quite a colorful game overall.
I get
And
Boulder Dash vibes out of it. I don't know.
well, maybe because of the maze-like levels,
Mm,
but there isn't any mechanic related
okay.
to moving stuff or letting stuff move, like in
Boulder Dash.
Boulder Dash, for example. It I didn't immediately also find it very Pac-Man-like,
Mm,
even though, well, your purpose is to collect the mushrooms, and the mushrooms are just in fixed position
mm.
in this maze. So you just walk over them, and that's how you collect them. And you have to avoid some critters that are moving around. Some follow you in the sense that they're not very smart to really navigate the maze, but rather they just move towards your position all the time. So if there's a wall between, they just stay there. They're not smart enough to walk around the wall.
Mm.
They just somehow detect you where you are and go straight towards you. Others
They
just
get
move on their
stuck.
own.
Okay.
They can get stuck. Yes. Others, they just move on their own. And the premise is really very simple. You just have to collect all the mushrooms, and then you finish the level.
Okay. Just like Pac-Man.
And yeah, but then the maze is itself. It has a bunch of special tiles, so to speak, as the whole graphic is tile based.
Mm.
So you can imagine that the screen is built of rows and columns, and there's always something in one of these tiles. So there are things that complicate your simple task, what would have been very simple otherwise. For instance, there are doors that you can't go through unless first you get one key, and you can only carry one key at a time. And with one key, you open one door, and then the key is gone.
Okay.
So there are levels further on the road where you might need to carefully open the door in a certain order, because then you get another key to open another door. But if you open accidentally the wrong door, you're out of keys and you're never going to finish the level,
Okay.
for example. Then there's some traps here and there in the form of static objects that if you are careless enough to walk through them, you lose a life immediately. There's weapons. Actually, there's arrows you can pick up, and then you can shoot some of the enemies, but not all. Not all of them are killable.
How do you know?
And also with the well, you learn this
Okay.
after a few levels. So th- those that are killable are always killable.
Uh,
You know how they
okay.
look like, and again you can only pick up one arrow at a time, and then you have to shoot it before you can pick up another one. You don't have that many. Usually you have maybe one or two in the whole screen, if any at all. So it always depends on the screen.
So those are
From this point of
the power
view,
pellets of Pac-Man, maybe the arrows, a little bit like that.
well, but you have to shoot them.
Yeah,
So you
right. Yeah,
pick up
yeah,
an
yeah. Okay.
arrow, and then you have one shot to kill one enemy. If you waste it, then the arrow is gone.
And are they staying away the monsters, or if you kill them,
Staying away.
if you kill them,
Yeah.
are they respawning like ghosts in
No,
Pac-Man,
no,
or okay, okay, they're gone
no.
forever. Good.
Yeah. Yes. Then you have some teleport mechanics as well. They look like Stonehenge stone dolmens. Is that the right word? Dolmens, like the three rocks,
I don't know, but I
like
know
in
what you mean.
Stonehenge.
I know what you mean.
So, well, at least that's how they look to me. But you could also see them as sort of stone doors. And but these teleports, they are one way only. So there's always an entry and an exit. If you go into the teleport entry, you appeared on the exit, but you can't go
Okay,
back. And in some levels, there is many entries and maybe only one exit
okay.
for all of them.
So
So
it can also be like a sort of a trap if you walk into them. You have to walk. Yeah.
yeah, yes, there are some levels where doing the wrong thing means that you are doomed. You're not gonna win the level,
Okay.
so you have to die. And you also actually have a timer to take care of. And this is a bit tricky because it's not shown, it doesn't show seconds, it just shows a small number of hourglasses,
Hmm.
and then they disappear. And I didn't have the time to measure how many seconds each hourglass is worth, because usually the levels you don't have time to look around that
Hmm.
carefully.
It's quite
So you
frantic.
want to move quickly. There are some levels where literally if you don't start moving immediately, you're dead. Not that many levels, but usually
Because.
every level starts with a little screen with a name for that level.
Hmm.
So the level maybe tell you something about what to expect, and it's also a good way to remember which level. You actually get a set of codes if you want. So when you restart the game, if you've noted down the codes, you can start from whatever
Oh, that's
level
nice.
you want, that you've already, if you've already reached the level. I think there's 32
Oh,
levels or
quite a
mazes in the
few.
whole game. Yeah, it's not super long, but also it also doesn't end very quickly. And I haven't managed to beat them all yet, but I played only a little bit, maybe level 15 or something like that,
Still halfway through.
to get the idea of it. So right, so you also have to take care of the time, and as I was trying to say, some levels tell you, there's a level at the beginning that tells you just run, something like
Okay.
that. And that's where when you realize that in some levels you are not going to have much time to think. You have to move out of danger quickly.
Because there's enemies or something close by, or.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yes. So that's it. It's a simple game. So the whole key for this game to be interesting is that it has to be challenging. And even though I haven't played long enough to get to the end of it, I had quite a good feeling that it's gonna take some effort to win all the levels. probably I will use the codes that I wrote down already, so that I will restart already
Hmm.
halfway through. But it's kind of interesting, and yeah, simple idea, but it plays quite well. Now the graphics are colorful. I wouldn't say that it looks really beautiful. The sprites are a bit childish, perhaps a bit simplistic, but it's
I
okay.
quite,
It's
I
a
quite.
it's a puzzle game.
It's quite unique style. I like this. Like for example, I see a screenshot where the walls are flowers, which is really weird.
Mm,
Like the walls are like all flower tiles, or like yeah, looks like
mm.
flowers at least. And this really colorful,
Yes.
weird graphics. It's like really, yeah. Maybe they also took some mushrooms when they made this game. I don't
I don't want to investigate,
know.
but
But I also see there's like a difficulty selection, and you can also play a random
yes,
generated map, which is really interesting. Did you try
I
that?
haven't tried either. To be honest, I just tried the
Hmm.
normal difficulty. So I need to take a look at what happens if I choose another difficulty. Do I get faster monster? Usually, the enemies are slower than you, so
Okay.
you can always outpace them. And yeah, don't know what happens if you get more. I have only tried normal level.
I guess
You
the
also
difficulty will indeed change, maybe more enemies or stuff
should
like that, because
change.
the itch.io page says 32 maze-like levels filled with rewards, obstacles, and traps. So I think they didn't make other levels for other difficulties. Uh,
No, I guess they're the same, but it could be that you just get less time or
okay.
something else. I don't know. I haven't tried. And yeah, but as I say, this is basically a kind of a puzzle game where anyway you have to be quick thinking. Where are the monsters? Because the fact that they move on their own makes it so that if you play the same level twice, it's not going to be exactly the same
Hmm.
thing as it would in a purely logical game. So it's a combination of arcade and logical,
Well, in that way,
and
it
but
is like
because
Boulder Dash, that you have to figure out the correct execution, but also have to avoid enemies which are frantically
mm,
going around. So maybe yeah, it's
yeah.
also a combination of arcade and logic. So yeah.
So usually when I play a puzzle game, I don't necessarily require it to look stunningly beautiful, and it's okay. But mm, I have to say that perhaps it suffers a little bit like the other game of today, Tale of Evil, from the fact that sometimes these graphics are
Mm.
confusing, and you don't always know if something is a mushroom you have to pick or it's just part of the scenery. So as
Or
you
an
said,
enemy.
that there's a level where the walls are flowers. Okay, flowers, not mushrooms, but still you might at
Yeah,
some
they
point
also have a
know
stem
what.
and a colorful top, so it's quite similar as a
Mm.
mushroom. Maybe I can see the confusion. So
Yeah, I was confused sometimes to whether something was a mushroom or something else that I shouldn't touch.
hmm.
And yeah, okay, but it's probably just a matter of getting used to the series of tiles that you have in the game.
I,
But anyway, I think it's a nice little game, and fits with the season
I, yeah, it's
because of the mushrooms.
autumn season. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's it's quite ugly, but I like it. I don't know why, but it has something interesting to it. The vibrant colors are speaking to me, so I don't know. It seems interesting.
Why not? Okay,
Cool. And
so
is there any music or, or
yeah, the music, it's kind of, it's a simple two-channel tune. It's not bad, but it's quite
Repetitive, maybe.
short. And if I remember right, it actually only plays between the levels, but not during the levels.
Ah, okay. So
So yeah, not much.
so bring your own soundtrack.
Mm.
Well, cool.
Put on some other music at the same time.
Well, nice selection. I quite like what we brought. It's all strange games actually, with weird looking or weird playing
Yeah.
and weird yeah teaming as well. So yeah, good. I like it.